panowie. Miło mi będzie
Good morning, gentlemen.
porozmawiać.
It's going to be a pleasure to have this fireside chat. Now, I would like to start this conversation by talking about a quotation. I found this quotation: biometric signature in a certified environment meets all the technical requirements for an advanced digital signature in the understanding of eIDAS, and all the other requirements that the civil code provides for manual signature or written signature. And hence I have my first question to Tomek Ostaszewski. What is it that you actually created? What is and what isn't a biometric signature the way we understand it? A few years ago, we became interested in the technology of having a written signature on a touchpad screens. And we were inspired by a unique implementation done by Alior Bank in Poland. And we decided to do something similar because we thought that had a lot of business potential and that would improve our business processes, especially in B2C, when a certain process ends with a manual signature, and that would make things easier. So we were looking for a ready-made solution to start with that would be usable by our business and with our clients. We found something, but it wasn't that good business-wise. It was pretty expensive, and that solution wasn't really flexible enough. It didn't fit our use cases too much. Then we found something that was better from a business point of view. It was cheaper. It was based on libraries, but it was completely out of sync with the market requirements because it was not compliant with eIDAS, and adapting it would have been difficult. Then our CTO, Marcin, said, why don't we write it ourselves? He did it. Very soon we had a working prototype that was able to download biometric data from a device, encrypt the document, and so forth. But that was not enough for what we wanted. We did not want to have a system that just collects biometrics and turns it into a PDF, but we wanted to have something that would be in line with these requirements for the so-called advanced signature under eIDAS. And to get that, we knew we needed some more components. Trusted services, for example, qualified services. We started with Certum, which is one of the providers of the Polish market, and we met with Artur. And after the first meeting, we knew we were not looking any further because they had a good, effective, efficient, cloud-based solution that was easy to integrate. Now, secondly, I never realized that a large company like this can cooperate with a partner so flexibly. Whenever we needed something from Asseco to work things out, it literally took a very short time, whereas normally some of these things would have taken months. We used SimplySign, we integrated with our signature as a different method of signing. So this worked out to be a nice system with qualified services from the best company in Poland. But we wanted to have a solution that we could certify somehow. And you can't just do it on any old device. And that was something we didn't have. So we had a good market survey. Our requirements for the device was for it to have pressure-sensitive screen to be able to read all the biometrical data. It had to be very efficient because, you know, it should be able to read it not 50 times per second, but 200 times per second. Now, for the stylus had to be passive, not active, because there could be a discrepancy between the pressure from the stylus and the exact position on the matrix, on the screen. And we looked at the market and what was available, and it turned out only Samsung had what we needed and something that met all our requirements. Now, the two guys here, they knew each other, so it made things easier. We had never cooperated with a huge corporation like Samsung, so it was a privilege to have these two big logos of Asseco and Samsung placed next to our logo. Now, this cooperation was so good that we decided we wouldn't just stop at that, with a solution that meets the requirements of a written signature, and we decided to go for a CyberSec certification to show that this is not just a solution, but that this is the best solution on the market. Right, Samsung was mentioned, so now I have a question to you. Could you add some more details to what Tomasz said? You've been dealing with cybersecurity and especially cybersecurity of endpoint devices for many years. Can you tell us what Samsung brought into this cooperation? And also, what is this certified environment? Could you clarify what that means? We have experts in the room. I'm sure they understand what cybersecurity and cyber certification is. But just to make sure that we're on the same page, just a couple of sentences in terms of explanation of what certification is in cybersecurity. Well, it's sort of a confirmation and referring to certain standards and norms. Now, the more formalized international the standards are, the more valuable the certification is. But I'm sure you realize that different institutions also have their own criteria to assess different devices. Now, I would like to say something that not everybody knows about. For Samsung, certification is a very important process, and for many years Samsung has been investing in all sorts of certifications. Knox, for example. If you go to our website, you can see how many different certificates we have. International ones, based on ISO, for example, and also national certificates. And Samsung has been able to get lots of them in recent years. Now, it all started in 2013 in terms of endpoint devices, when Samsung established this platform. Now, you see, Samsung produces Android-based devices, right? And back then, everybody was saying, now, if this platform is open, because it's a Linux distribution, so if it's open, then it must mean it's not safe. Now, we developed a platform that has been mentioned at this conference many times, that brings together hardware and software. And then, as the product evolved, we also developed a system which was also then certified and assessed and evaluated. Just a couple of days ago, we also received the Polish certification for cybersecurity by the ABW, the Internal Security Agency of Poland. Samsung has its R&D department in Poland, a manufacturing department, and others as well. So it's very important to us that we have been able to prove here in Poland that our solutions are safe and secure. Now, this covers the whole supply chain. The moment a device leaves a factory, there are already cryptographic keys designed and included. And the whole process from A to Z has the necessary technological norms and standards met and all the necessary certification. And this is something we stick to, because this guarantees to the customer that this is safe and secure. Now, there are different devices that collect all sort of biometrical data from your signature, and there are different producers and different vendors, but biometrics is also there in Samsung, and our family of devices, from our tablets to smartphones, biometrics is part and parcel of what we have in those devices, and this is something we keep developing. Let me now refer to something that Tomek said a moment ago. The way we develop it is always as part of a partnership. We don't do it alone. Our solutions start from innovation, but they reach out not just to the global market, but also to local markets. And it's a bit of a unique opportunity, because here in Poland we have the largest European R&D center from Samsung, and our engineering team works on these devices and solutions for cybersecurity here in Poland. So this is a great added value for the Polish economy and Polish society, for everybody. The fact that here in Poland we can create and develop innovation which is not just based on large brands like Google or other players, or even Asseco. We're also looking for innovation. Tomek will be crossed with me for using this term about his company, but we're also looking for startup companies. Anybody who is not afraid to create innovation and deliver new products on the Polish market. And we are proud to be able to work with small companies as well. And as we sit here in the room, we can talk about very specific examples of solutions that are not just some theory in PowerPoint, but these are real, validated and certificated solutions. And that's how we can help create a unique market position. I'm very proud of it. Thanks. Artur, it's your turn. Now, for many years you've been dealing with electronic signature. I'm sure you could talk about it at length. But now there's a bit of a dilemma in this discussion that's bound to come up. The solutions that you offer, how do they fit into the legal framework? There are people on the market who say that if biometric signature hasn't been literally defined in the Polish legislation, then its legal effectiveness might not be sufficient for many legal transactions. What you have offered as a solution, could you reassure everyone about it? The way we approach this is that a dilemma exists to be solved. So if we looked at the fact that something has not been directly described in the law, then there would be no innovation at all, because an innovation has to happen first before it can be described in the law, not the other way around. So if you have an ordinary signature, a handwritten signature you place on a piece of paper, you could equally say that this signature isn't credible because there is no definition of a signature in the law. The handwritten graphical sign we put on a piece of paper, it's not defined in the Polish law, but nobody has any doubts about a handwritten signature. We all use it. So this is my first point. Now, a problem I can see on this signature market is that there is a bit of an information chaos. There's a lot of brand names and marketing names for signatures, different. So the point is, where does our signature fit in? And there are two legal acts You mentioned advanced signature. It's called advanced signature because it has to follow the definition of an advanced signature, which is binding for all the member states in the EU, and it has to be in line with eIDAS. But a signature also has to follow the local law, which in our case is the Polish Civil Code. So the question is about the signature we offer. Is it in line and compliant with the what we call the written signature? And we approached it very closely from a legal and organizational point of view, trying to develop a matrix of, if you have a graphical sign, which you put on a piece of paper, how is that reflected in the biometric signature on the tablet?
In fact, this is about the function of a signature. Sometimes we don't think about that there is a place for putting your signature at the top or bottom of the document. If there is a warning function, we have to give our consent to put our signature on the document. So this matrix of comparisons was applied in our case, and we concluded that from the technological point of view, e-signature fulfills all these functions. Let me go into detail as regards signatures, and there are frequently asked questions. Can I copy a signature? No, you can't. Not every biometric solution means written solution. There are a lot of solutions that seem to resemble each other, but the devil is in the detail. So the key thing is that if we want to go into detail, we have to be very precise. Sometimes there are frequently asked questions about whether you can download the signature and inject it into a different document. No, you can't. And there is the ecosystem to make biometrics secure. The fact that you can use the biometric graphic sign, it is secure, it is encrypted, but this key does not belong to a customer. Yesterday we had business cases, and you could say, okay, a customer has a key and he or she can manipulate it. No, we have the so-called third trusted party, and this cryptographic key is stored with us, with the qualified provider, and if there is an issue related to fraud and there is the court decision, only then we can disclose some information. Not all the documents, but a specific graphic sign. So this key is not moved from right to left hand side. Only the legal court expert can have some access to some of the information. What is lacking? Self-certificates, auto-certificates, but speaking of qualified timestamps and seals, they are used to strengthen the security of the system. So this is a synergy effect. Synergy comprises of different aspects of those solutions. Thank you. Unfortunately, I have to say that you have around 2 minutes each of you. I have to take care of the time discipline. It is always difficult to be first, of course, but the question is, what is unique about your solution from your own perspective? Who would like to volunteer, or would you like me to name some of you? Let me continue. I'd like to answer this question because I have warmed up already. Right, so I would say that there are three major elements. The uniqueness of the solution is that it is very practical. I don't like to present solutions only showing PowerPoint presentations, but this solution is not used in practice. I don't like that. There were business cases shown yesterday, and within our own sales department, we have the paperless qualified signature. Our operators use tablets, and signature is put using a tablet. So they use it themselves. Secondly, security. Why is it important? When it comes off the manufacturing side, it's already secure. We have secure hardware, we have secure software, and we have trust services provided together with our solutions. Sometimes this is a buzzword, but it's not in our case, and someone can question it. So we decided to use CyberSec certification in order to prove to ourselves that we've done a good job, I hope. And secondly, to use certain arguments, that it's not only an opinion of three companies that want to sell something. This is an opinion of the body, authority, which knows what it is doing. And the third thing, as Tomek Ostaszewski has already mentioned, we are not only selling solutions and forgetting about them. We cooperate with partners, we collaborate with them, and we adjust solutions together with them. When you enter the paperless solution, it means adjustment and changes of the existing processes, and we have to join efforts. I know why you wanted to be first, because you had the the longest period of time to speak. Okay, so let me be second after Artur. The most important thing that Artur has mentioned, services provided by the third trusted party, trusted third parties, and we have to know who has access to information which can be decrypted. As Artur has mentioned, CyberSec certification is useful not only because it's secure, but also because an independent authority certifies that. We don't forget about the process. B2C processes are good examples when we have a contact with a patient, a user, an employee, and each process of servicing a client, it looks different in different sectors. And we have several scenarios of signing. For example, mutual work on the same document. You can introduce changes into the document together. For example, in the medical sector, healthcare sector, you can help a patient to fill in a difficult document, and you work on the same document using two devices, but then both of them sign this document, which was developed together. Tomek, I believe in you. I have 1 minute, 13 seconds left. Three major points. I've mentioned the first one already. We invest and build innovation. We build cooperation with reliable partners who can implement solutions. If a solution is only on paper and is not implemented, it's useless from our point of view. As Samsung, the Korean culture forces us to move forward, to run forward actually. And cyber threats, cyber attackers are not idle. 10 million different loopholes, vulnerabilities on mobile devices were detected last year. So using the certified, reliable, contemporary, top-of-the-art solution offers additional value to the client, something that the competitor doesn't have on offer. Then we have such conferences as Trusted Economy Forum, organized by professionals. So Andrzej, Ewelina, Tomasz, Artur, the entire team of professionals, thank you for organizing these conferences for years. And every year we can present innovations and to be proud that we have made another step forward. After Tomek's summary, there is nothing left to add, but I will still focus on two items. Despite different legal doubts, these solutions are feasible. And secondly, cooperation with different partners is priceless, and we can overcome all types of hurdles, doubts, challenges together. And we hope for more close examples of cooperation. And we will be happy to discuss them during the next forum. Thank you very much.